Hello, you're right.
Hello, Danny.
You finally in? Yeah, just had some email issues. Sorry about that. If there's a bit of a delay.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah, you're
But
right though.
let's get started. I
Yeah.
haven't got much long, Danny, so we'll try to go through as much as we can,
Okay, no problem. No
baby
problem.
stuff and all that.
Yeah,
But this is, I believe, episode 2 of
yeah,
the Gunner and the Devil podcast, where
yeah,
we'll be discussing everything related to Manchester United and Arsenal, and obviously other footballing related issues.
yeah.
Today's bit of a content before we get started, Danny. I know you're excited to get started.
You definitely today. Yeah,
We should have had a guest speaker, but unfortunately he has bailed on us. So
yeah,
we'll be back for him.
yeah,
But let's talk
definitely.
about. We're going to be, for those of you who didn't watch episode 1. So episode 1 we discussed primarily around the preview of Manchester United versus Arsenal. We're going to be doing a bit of a review of that match. We're going to be talking about United's recent form, and their tactics. We're also going to be touching upon Pochettino to Manchester United rumors.
Yeah,
And look ahead to the Everton game versus Manchester United. Obviously, I'll be covering that, being an expert at Manchester United.
yeah,
And obviously, Danny will cover some of the Arsenal stuff. He'll be getting involved in the Arsenal Man United match review, as well as I want to touch upon things like the Premier League pay-per-view thing
yeah.
that's been happening along. Is there anything you want to cover yourself also, Danny? We can lay out a bit of a content for every listener out there.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Just reviewing a match, obviously, that's a topic overlapping between both of our clubs, and of course, we can go into transfer news and rumours between our clubs, obviously, as the January window fast approaches.
Indeed.
And our match against Aston Villa on Sunday as well, just before the international break.
Awesome.
To preview, yeah.
I will let you cover the previews of your side of the games, because you're you'll know better.
Yeah.
But let's start off with the Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1 match review from last weekend's.
How long will I wait to say that? How long?
By the way,
that?
are we keeping this 18 rated or lower than that?
I mean, it's up to you. Obviously, I'll have to mark it as explicit if you swear.
Okay,
I used
the S word just a few seconds ago, so I will try not to use the S word.
I'll keep it family friendly. It's up to you though. I can understand your frustration. Partey, El Neni.
Oh mate, okay. So looking at the game, let me give you my side of the game review. Then you can talk about yours, right? Because I'm sure you'll have a lot of stuff to cover yourself.
Yeah.
Look,
you're right on that.
We've had good results under Oli, and we've had bad results under Oli, right?
Yeah.
Then we've had results like the game against Arsenal, which was so poor. Like, I don't mind losing 2-0, 3-0, or even 4-0, as long as there was effort on the field, as long as there was fight on the field. That day, Manchester United had zero fight. Like, literally, Arsenal were so good. They won.
Yeah, we dominated you, but I expected a better game from you guys.
I expected that. At least I expected a bit of a challenge. Yes,
especially when I saw the lineup. I actually thought our lineup was pretty poor compared to yours.
Yes. Like going back on the lineup, right? So and I said that in my match review as well, like in my channel. We started off with a diamond, which meant we've played 4 central midfielders, and they've absolutely got dominated by Arsenal's 2 central midfielders, El Neni and Partey.
Yeah.
Right? Which is an absolute disgrace, in my opinion. It's an absolute disgrace. I was fuming, man.
I understand, yeah.
Do you really understand?
I hope you're doing all right. I mean, you went to lost to us, and then you went to Istanbul and got beat there in the Champions League as well. So
let's not even go to that game. Let's not even go to that game.
There's no fighting your side at the moment.
I don't know why. And this has been the recent feeling in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? He's trying different formations, trying different tactics. Why the hell are you still trying different formations and tactics? You've been in the bloody club for almost 2 years, for God's sakes. You should know
2 years already.
Your top 11 players. You should know your best formation. You should have an idea of how you approach games. And that's my frustration with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that day, Arsenal are brilliant. Let's give him credit.
Thank you.
They're absolutely brilliant. But we were so poor at the same time, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I expected better from you guys, honestly, because I think your line was more set up. Like, I was actually afraid seeing your line, seeing likes of Bruno Fernandes, even though you didn't name Cavani in the lineup like you predicted.
Yeah, we had firepower from the bench.
Rashford and Greenwood, obviously, they can be very, very dangerous players. Bruno Fernandes on the day, but our boys turned up. I mean, Partey and El Neni, they really kept them quiet.
They turned up and locked
2-man midfield.
They turned up and locked us back in. That's how bad it was. that's my overall sort of match review, my thoughts on it. Obviously, I was
Yeah.
extremely disappointed. I don't know, as I said, I don't mind losing 1-2, 3, 4-0, right?
Yeah.
It's the manner of the defeat. And I feel in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's shooting himself in the foot. Like, he's not picking the best 11, clearly. He's still persistent on playing certain players. I mean, Scott McTominay, right?
McChicken sandwich.
He's had a stinker of a game. Yeah, he
Yeah, he
played
did.
90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I believe Bruno Fernandes got taken off.
Yeah, and
Who is our only outfield player out there right now that will get you
he was
something?
the biggest threat, I would have thought.
Yes.
So why was Ole taking him off? I don't understand.
Yeah, taking him off, and we leave someone who's had a stinker of a game, who's more of a defensive-minded
Yeah.
midfielder, and we were chasing a goal at Old Trafford, and he keeps on Scott McTominay. I genuinely believe Scott McTominay has nudes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keeping him on.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yes, it was a abysmal performance, and I think a lot of the United fans, from speaking to several fans over at my Discord and obviously interacting with Twitter and watching other people on YouTube, the reviews, is still to this. I know it's almost been a week, but it's still, we are still holding a sort of like a bitterness.
It's going to be, because I've been experienced with that feeling when you guys beat us. So now you're on the other end of the stick, other end of the stick. Sorry, yeah. So
yes, very much so. Anyway,
for a while.
Talk us a bit about your side of things. How did you see the match?
Yeah, like when I saw the lineup, I saw like Rob Holding starting out of nowhere. I was actually pretty disappointed about that. And obviously, I said that I wanted Nicolas Pepe to start ahead of Willian. I saw that and I was a bit like, let's see what he can do, because with Willian, it's like you never know what you're going to get with him. He had like a couple of chances actually in the game. I remember the one we hit the crossbar, and I was like, how did he not put that away? Do you remember that chance?
Yes. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
With Arsenal, right? Compared to, say, Arteta, right, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Arteta's been at the job for less than a year, much less than a year.
10
right?
months, 11 months, yeah, 11 months.
So just less than a year. But you can see the pattern of play. You can see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, it seems like there's a plan for us.
Yes, there is a plan.
Honestly, don't see one for you guys.
With Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's more like against the bigger sides, and obviously Arsenal's not the biggest of sides, but say against the likes of Man City, the Liverpools, the PSGs, we played the 5-3-2 formation and we hit them on the counter-attack. And that, for me, is the only formation Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has pretty much done well in, because we've beaten big teams with that formation.
Yeah.
Right? But when it comes to games like against Arsenal or against playing poorer sides in the Premier League, we just don't have another tactic. And it's been 2 years. He's got the players for it. There is no excuses. He's got the likes of...
Yeah, like on paper...
Yeah, on paper, if somebody was not a football fan, who didn't know who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, who didn't know who Manchester United was, and they looked at a team and he showed them, they had Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, De Gea, Rashford, the likes of Martial, Greenwood... I can name a couple more. You look them on Donny van de Beek. You look them on the paper, and you think, "My God, this team is probably going to win the Premier League." But it's totally the opposite.
Definitely. It's like you think you'd be up there with the big boys, but right now it's just not going to plan at all.
We should be. I mean, we've seen it with Oli before, where he goes on a massive good run, right?
Yeah.
He goes on a massive poor run. There is no consistency.
No consistency whatsoever, and he just looks like he's walking on a tightrope at the moment.
Yes. So we'll that brings us nicely to our next subject, right?
Yeah.
So Pochettino was in the studio, lo and behold, on the same day. And what's a coincidence that he decides to be in the studio at the same time when the Manchester United rumor mill of the transfer side of things, especially in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is on 100%, and he's just there, just there.
What coincidence, exactly.
Yes, it's there, and I covered it in my channel the next day.
A
very reputable source in Simon Lockhurst, who's really close to Manchester United, and he's got inside scoops. And the article he wrote for the Manchester Evening News, who is also reliable in terms of news coming out from Manchester, he has come out and said that Pochettino has been approached by Manchester United. And you look back on some of the comments Poch made in the Sky interview or whatever he did, where they said that, are you going to be wearing the black attire? because he dressed so smartly, and he joked and said right at the end that he might be a red attire, which is
Oh, wow.
which is in
The
Manchester.
teasers.
There's
Yeah.
only there's only two clubs in the whole of the Premier League that wear pure red attire, and one of the clubs is the manager is under pressure, right? The other club being Liverpool, obviously, but I don't think Klopp is moving anywhere. The other club is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What's your thoughts on Poch returning to football potentially?
Yeah, although he didn't win a trophy with Spurs, I mean, Spurs just don't win trophies, do they? But he's the type of coach that will go to a team. He'll take like it's at Spurs initially he had poor players, but he took them, he built them up, and he rebuilt the squad, and then eventually he took them to a Champions League final.
Yes,
Even though he didn't obviously win it, he could definitely do something special with you
was
guys.
a remarkable achievement by the team
exactly.
because they didn't spend for 2 years, isn't it? They didn't spend any money in the transfer window, and for him to take a team up to the final of the Champions League, it's not a small thing. And secondly, he's the type of coach that strikes me as the person who actually develops players and gives them a chance. Like you look at Son, he developed him, bought him for cheap peanuts money. Harry Kane being another one, who's one of the world's best strikers now at the moment. And those are just two fine examples. Obviously, Dele Alli is in the mix as well. This for me seems to be an aura of authority with him, a vision with him. He knows what he's doing, the experience of managing a club.
And he knows how to bring up a poor side and take them into world beaters again.
Exactly. Whereas you look at someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've had a lot of interactions on my Twitch and my YouTube in regards to, and even my Twitter at times in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? And I've always maintained, and I was very consistent when I said I'm Ole out. I've been Ole out for a very, very long time. But I've always maintained the stance where, yes, I am Ole out, but I am not a Ole hater. I love the guy. He's done a fantastic.
As an ex-player, I mean,
I absolutely adore the guy. He's actually a really nice person. But I think for Manchester United job, it's too much of a big step for him, and we're starting to see it now. We've seen it for a long time, but in the last couple of results, especially the game against Arsenal, followed up by Istanbul something like Demba Ba. I thought he retired now.
Demba Ba, 35-year-old Demba Ba.
Until I saw him on the
it was reminiscent of the Slippy G goal, wasn't it?
Yes. Goal. You know what's the worst thing? You know what's the worst thing about Demba Ba, right? So the commentator said Demba Ba is actually not the first choice striker. He was and he's actually destroyed United, which was absolutely a shame.
He's an OAP of football now, isn't he? Like he's like outrunning Maguire and Wan-Bissaka and
and you know what? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has the heart. I'll give him that. Has the desire. But I think going back to bringing it into the Arsenal subject a little bit as well. Arteta was a clever player. I don't think he was a better player than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right?
I agree with you.
But Arteta, he has learned under one of the best managers of all time in Pep Guardiola for years. Before he made the jump to the Arsenal job, and he's doing a fantastic job. But on the other side, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's literally learned. He managed the under-23s at Manchester United, which doesn't count. Then he went to Cardiff, who got relegated, and then he went to Molde. I think if he took Arteta's approach, where he spent a few years with a top manager,
learn from him, be patient for a few years, then came back and took the Manchester United job, I think he would have been in a better place. Because one thing we cannot question in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the heart and the desire. He wants to do well, but I think his limit. But technically, I think he's lacking.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Mikel Arteta, he's a clever player. He was a clever player. He's a clever guy. He's a tactician, but he's learned a lot.
From Pep, Pep, especially.
He's one of the best managers ever to grace the game.
Definitely.
And then you can see when he's gone to Arsenal, it was his first official transfer window, I believe. What a signing! The flipping Partey.
Thomas Partey, and don't forget Gabriel as well. And obviously everyone's going on about Partey, but I do want to give props to Gabriel as well. Like the
and Gabriel was fantastic, and also El Neni.
Commander.
How good was he?
He is Colossus, El Neni as well. Like no one expected him to do well. He was actually passing forward.
And you know what? What surprised me a lot is Lacazette. He was
Lacazette as well.
He was working his socks off.
I told you he's a hard worker. You know, he's a very hard worker. He might not be the ultimate goal scorer, but he's like a Firmino type player.
But that's my point in Arteta. Like you can see what he's trying to build here. Exactly. He stabilized the defense when he first came in, and I've said that so many times in my channel as well. Arteta stabilized the defense, but now he's brought in a fantastic midfielder. And now he can go on and kind of attack teams because your front line is very, very good. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Sacco.
Lacazette when he's scoring,
Exactly.
Saka,
William
Nicholas
is hard
Pepe,
work.
William.
And
We've got
Pepe as
options
well.
going forward.
Exactly. So you guys have already, in my opinion, got the platform to build upon it. You've got Gabriel. What's his second name? I can't pronounce.
Gabriel Magalhaes.
Okay, I'm going to call him Gabriel. Yeah.
Just call him Gabriel.
So you got Gabriel, who's an absolute rock at the back.
He's a rock. Yeah. You should have seen how he. Did you see the one on Matic?
Mate, I really want to forget the game, so stop reminding me.
I'd love to bring it back up if that's okay.
But you look at El Neni and Partey and Gabriel, those three.
Yeah, those three were the man of the match.
In the middle of the park, right? If you can build upon that, you'll have a solid spine in.
Yeah, that's a hell of a spine. Leno in goal, Gabriel, El Neni, Partey.
And that's a credit to Mikel Arteta, right? But bringing it back into the Poch subject, right?
Yeah.
As you said, and I agree with you totally, he's an experienced manager. He knows he has a way of playing. He has a way of getting the best out of players who you don't expect to be really good.
Yeah.
You know? And I think him coming in and bringing a bit of knowledge around him, being at the top end of the game for a very long time, will help someone like Manchester United. But ultimately, for me, it's not about the manager. Yes, it is somewhat about the manager, but United do need a director of football as well. And
you reckon, like the Lille one that you were talking about?
Yeah. I mean, our director of football at the moment is a banker, and he doesn't know shit about football.
When it's about money, it's never gonna go right. I mean, I speak from experience with the Cronkies, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there is no structure at United. It stinks from the top down. It absolutely stinks.
Yeah.
We seem to be recycling managers every 2 years, not supporting the transfer window. If I was the owner, or if I was the chairman if I was Ed Woodward, and I had a love for United just finished third in the Premier League last season. I would have told Ollie.
That was impressive in the end.
Let's go and get all these players that you need to.
Yeah, that should have been the platform, like getting the Champions League football again. Finishing in the top three
to build on it. Now we just gone backwards, and Ollie, I genuinely believe, with Poch suddenly appearing at Sky Sports, and all these rumors popping out.
I mean, he's been unemployed since last year. You could have gone and got him last season.
Yeah. And United did have a romance with Poch, isn't it? Back as well. They are interested in him, but I do believe that the reason why a lot of the clubs didn't go after Poch is after you get the sack, you have like a sort of like a contract that you're not allowed to speak with other clubs for about a year. Is that? Yeah, that's what happened with Jose Mourinho when he got the sack from Manchester.
I saw he was unemployed for a year.
So a lot of the chairmen of the club installed that particular clause. Like, I'm going to sack you. You're a top coach, but you didn't work for us. But it doesn't mean you go to another club, rival club, and make them better for at least a year. That's why that's what we've seen with Jose Mourinho. When Manchester United sacked him, he wasn't in a job for about a year.
Yeah,
and we've seen it with Poch, and it does seem like Premier League clubs are doing that more often. One of the clauses, and for Danny, if you don't know, I'll explain it. For those that's listening in, it's quite important, actually, useful information to have. One of the clauses is what you would call a bonus payment or loyalty payment, right?
Yeah,
that's installed in every players and coaches contracts.
Yeah.
So if for example, Danny, you're playing for Arsenal, and one of your loyalty bonus is £5 million, but you'll only get £5 million if you stayed at the club for 2 years or more, right?
Oh, so it's like an appearance bonus.
No, appearance bonus is different. Like you appearance bonus is based.
It's like a condition. It's based on the conditions, and that you.
Conditions. So just say an example will be, okay, Danny, I've signed you for 2 years. I'm going to give you £5 million if you stay for 1 year at the club, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you stayed for 1 year, but next year Real Madrid comes in for you with a fantastic £120 million offer for Dan the Man. Yeah, and I decided to say, you know what, that's too good to turn down. I'm going to sell Danny to Real Madrid for £120 million. You will get £5 million because it wasn't your fault that I sold him.
Oh, so because it's not my fault.
Unless you put in a transfer request, then you lose that. You lose that bonus. With the managers, they have some sort of a system where they put in, all right, you're gonna get £20 million or £5 million if you do get the sack, or we're gonna pay off the contract that you were contracted for 5 years or whatever. But you're not allowed to join another club in the meantime, whilst you're still getting money from us, if you know what I mean. That's what happened with David Moyes, right? Only last year we finished paying him £20 million. So he got sacked about 7 years ago, but
since 7 years ago they've still been paying him off.
Because he was sacked, but
10 months in, wasn't it?
Yeah, his clause was
because it's very poor.
So that's what I feel with Pochettino at the moment, where suddenly he wasn't in football for over a year, and suddenly he appears, which is probably the time where his contract, technically his bonus contract, is expired. Spurs have paid him whatever they need to pay him, so he's
free to talk to a club,
to talk around and appear on television and give his opinions. Whereas if
that's why it's come out of his
so if he broke that rule, he would have lost out on that money.
Yes,
we're talking millions. So it was interesting for Poch to suddenly appear just before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been rocking, to be frank.
Yeah, and just lost to us as well on the same day.
So it was a perfect time, and I genuinely believe, we're gonna finish off the Poch subject here. I genuinely believe. On last thoughts on it for me, then we'll get to you as well. That Poch is only a matter of time that Poch will be Manchester United manager, and I think if United lose tomorrow, it'll be a final nail in the coffin. It's already been a nail in the coffin.
I know you've been saying that, but Mark Goldbridge from the United Stand, he was saying that you'll probably go on till Christmas.
And I did watch the video where he did mention that United do take the time on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's come up. International break has come out at a very convenient time.
Yeah, it could be a time to think about
it. Yeah. If we end up sacking Oli, say after tomorrow's game.
But obviously tomorrow's a tough game.
Yeah, exactly. Everton. We'll come back to
James Rodriguez will be back.
Yeah, but say tomorrow, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the sack, it will be Poch, right? He'll have 2 weeks international break, but so he can come in and settle in for 2 weeks at the club.
If they do decide to do, that's a possibility.
It could be a possibility. And any final thoughts on the Poch and Ole transfer news?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think let's see what happens tomorrow, and if they lose, then I reckon that it's only a matter of time before Ole's gone.
Awesome.
Now, Poch is one person on the list, but I mean, he's probably the favourite.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so before we get into the subject of Premier League pay-per-view model, do you want to just tell the viewers what platforms this is going to be put on, this podcast?
Oh yeah, so obviously it's going on your YouTube channel later on, isn't it? I believe today. Yeah. So after we record this episode, or after 7 o'clock-ish, I don't know when's the episode. I don't know how long the episode's going to last, but after that, soon after, I'll be putting it on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. So all the major podcasting platforms, basically.
Awesome.
So you can stream it.
And for those of you that follow me on Twitter at Draco Evolve, I have got if you go to my profile, there is a pinned comment section which has all the details of where you can download and listen to this podcast. For those of you that subscribed onto my channel, Draco Evolve, my YouTube channel, this will be going up, and the podcast details will be there as well. I do appreciate that everyone. There was being the first podcast from last week, episode 1. There was a very good reaction to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got a few followers from it as well. I've had messages on Twitter and congratulating myself as well, and you, Danny.
Podcast. So thank you everyone who's been tuning in.
Yeah, sir. And as we said from the beginning, this is going to be a weekly thing. When we talk.
It's just a start.
It's a start. So, we're gonna get hopefully some guests in. And
hopefully they're on bail.
As the shows go on, the podcast will be longer and longer. So it would be nice if you're driving or if you're stuck at home during this pandemic, you can just listen to our sexy voices.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as always, guys, make sure you go and download it on Spotify, Anchor, Google Play, I believe, and Apple as well.
Apple and Google.
It's all there for you guys. Give a follow, and it'll be much appreciated. And in the future, as this thing grows, which we have a lot of high hopes for, we can get some of you guys, the listeners out there, to come and join us.
Yeah, and also there's also a function for you guys to send in your voice messages for like a phone-in type.
Oh, brilliant!
Thing, we can. Yeah. Oh, wow. So. For future episodes, you can do that. I think I forgot to tell you about that.
I know a few people that will definitely do that. Send like a minute clip or two.
So for the third episode onwards, that's definitely something to look at.
Okay. So we can I can make some contact. Same with yourself. Think of a subject.
You can obviously tweet the link to voice message.
And we'll just get some messages come across, and we'll include you guys as well.
So it'll be like a phone-in radio session.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Should we move on to the next subject, which is the pay-per-view model?
Yeah. That's another interesting topic.
Yes, so that's the hot topic recently, right? Okay.
Yeah, recently.
Look, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to start this, but Danny, I'll let you take the lead to start this off. Then I'll give my thoughts on it because I feel very angry talking about it.
Yeah, I feel frustrated talking about it as well. Like, to be fair, like a lot of people have been forced to like resort to like streaming and things like that because it's like 14.95 for like West Brom versus Burnley, and it's not
Yeah.
just our like the bigger teams. Then you got like the smaller teams, like the fans of like the, with all due respect to clubs like West Brom. Well, my dad supports West Brom, but all due respect to those kind of clubs, they got to pay like 14.95 just to watch their club week in week out. And apparently, there's been embarrassing viewing figures, so they're looking at scrapping that for the second lockdown, I believe. So that needs to be done. It's a priority.
So my opinion on this as well. Thank you, Danny, for that.
Yeah.
This stupid model, right, is only to fill the pockets of these billionaires, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We as fans, if we want to watch all the games in the UK, in especially the Premier League, we have to end up paying for Sky. We have to end up paying for BT Sports, and even as far as Amazon Prime. Yeah. That's close. If you want to watch your team play, you have to potentially spend close to £100 a month, because sometimes
just to sit and watch it on your TV rather than actually going into the match.
Sometimes Arsenal games could be on Sky Sports, then the following week it's on BT Sports.
Yeah, so you have to pay several different networks.
Yes. And on top of that, the stupid money-hungry hippos coming and then charging 15 quid per match.
Per match, week in, week out.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I'll give you an example, right? So I was watching another podcast, because I watch a lot of podcasts. You know, I work from home.
Same
I have things in the background. But I just found out in Canada, right? Get this, Danny. In Canada, as a user, you pay 15 quid a month, $15. So that's like $7
a month.
Yeah, it's like £7 a month, $15, right?
Yeah.
And you get football, NFL, NHL, basketball, everything. In terms of football, you get every single match. It's not as if you get you have to choose between Arsenal or Manchester United. You can watch both the flipping matches, right? And that's £7 a month, right? And there's examples of that across the whole of Europe as well. You look at anywhere in Europe, right? Every single match is near enough kicked off at the same time, and it's shown on TV for cheap. Whereas in the Premier League, you have matches. I didn't even know there was a match today at 5 p.m. I didn't even know that, right? And that's on Friday, right? You got a match on Friday, which people have to pay for. Burnley fans, except they have to pay for that, right? They know that we're in lockdown. We're probably going to pay for it, right? Tomorrow you got a bunch of matches. Some games at 12, like United game. Other games at 3 p.m. Other games at 5, then 7 and 8, and everyone's paying for it. Then Sundays you got matches, right? And then Mondays you got matches as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you want to watch your team, if you want to watch these matches and follow your team, you're spending a lot of flipping money. And guess whose pocket is that going to? Those billionaires.
Yeah, it's the FA Premier League owners, I guess.
Advantage of the fact that we're in a lockdown. We're in a flipping lockdown.
Yeah, so they're taking advantage of that situation.
Yeah, and they know that we have no choice, because we can't go outside. You know, we can't go to the pub, say example, to watch the match. Not that but you know. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
If I want to watch that, you know, last week, Danny, I'll tell you a story. Arsenal versus Manchester United, right? It was shown on Sky Sports. I don't have Sky Sports, and I really wanted to watch that match, right? I was very close to get the Sky Sports Day Pass, which costs is 10 quid for one day. And I'm thinking, one day, 10 quid.
It's better than the 15.
It's definitely better. But you see these models,
but it's still, you know.
If you see these models they have across all these broadcasting channels, right? They're just mugging us off. The apps and we as football fans, we love our football, right? We want to watch the match regardless. Yeah. And there is loads of things that's happening around the world. Obviously, it excludes me and you, Danny. But people are watching illegally, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And whose fault is that? It's their fault. It's their fault.
It's their fault. They're losing. Like I said before, the embarrassing viewing figures shows that how much money they're going to actually end up losing, because they're losing the viewership that way.
And talking about the subject, bringing it back, right? So BBC now are reporting as of today, or a few days ago when I messaged you down yesterday, right? Due to the backlash they've got, right? And a big up to clubs like Newcastle, right? Newcastle raised about £15,000 from all their fans, because instead of paying £15 for the match that they were paying, they put it towards charity, and which was
Fair play, fair play.
And there are examples of that across clubs, fans, obviously. That screw you guys, we're not gonna actually pay 15 quid, and they received a lot of backlash from Twitter, social media, ex-players, pundits, etc., and rightly so. So the pay-per-view model is likely to be scrapped after.
Hopefully to be scrapped.
It should be scrapped. I think for them to kind of be fair, I think they should come out and say, you know what, this is the pandemic. We're in a different situation. It never happens, rarely happens. You have to be home, stay safe, keep your family safe. Here's all the football matches for free for 4 weeks.
That's exactly what they should be doing. It's the least.
Yeah, you get a lot of respect as well, isn't it? Like you get respect from everyone if you do that.
Yeah, like you're saying with Canada and America, they have like the NBA League Pass, they have like the All Sports Pass for it's like either the same or cheaper than that.
Exactly. So I hope now. Exactly. I hope that these sort of things are kind of eliminated from the game as soon as.
Yeah, there will be. I mean, the figures tells you.
Yes,
everything, really.
It does. Any other, before we close down this particular topic, do you want to add anything to it, or should we just move on to the look ahead, you can say?
Yeah, let's have a look ahead, because I think that's going to be scrapped anyway. So let's just hope for the best.
Yes. So, you can start off first with I believe Arsenal got Aston Villa, is it?
Yeah, Aston Villa. Yeah, they've been a team that started off the league in good fashion, haven't they? In the first couple of matches, they had like a 100% record.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking at the league table for you now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they are currently 8th on the table, but
they've
lost the last two, but they won the first 4. They've made a fantastic start.
Yeah, including the astonishing 7-2.
Oh yeah, they're the one that beat Liverpool 7-2.
And Van Dijk was in that defense. That was before he was injured. So what was going on?
Absolutely.
Jack Grealish, Ollie Watkins on the field.
Are you guys playing home or away?
We're playing at the Emirates again, so back in our comfort zone. But obviously, I say comfort zone. Remember what I was saying last episode about the previous week against Leicester? If Vardy can do it, then what is Mr. Jack Grealish going to do? So I'm obviously afraid about that. And Grealish, Watkins, Ross Barkley, on their day, they can be dangerous as well. But I'm pretty confident we can win.
He's an amazing player.
Yeah, amazing footballer. He should be playing for a top half side.
And in terms of Aston Villa and Arsenal, I'm looking at the table for you. You guys are both on 12 points, right? Arsenal are buzzing at the moment. They beat Manchester United.
After beating you guys,
they had a very good result in the weekday Molde. They beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's.
That was an easy win. Yeah, Ole's where Ole's supposed to be.
And they had a very convincing. So there's a bit of a buzz around Arsenal at the moment. I can see it.
Yeah, like it's lifting. The spirit is lifting. And like after the Leicester game, it was a bit of a downgrade.
You guys now we end up winning the game, right? You're going to be on 15 points, 1 point off the top. How does that feel?
Oh my word! Yeah, like it's been a long time since I've been able to say that. Hopefully, you can not.
Assuming the remaining 8 teams above you lose their games.
Well, I'm never going to get too ahead of myself, because this is Arsenal talking about. We can just mess up when we're not expected to mess up. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but at the same time, maintain that
bit of composure, isn't it?
Yeah, composure, but not overconfidence. Even
I
against
understand
you guys.
As an Arsenal, I've seen Arsenal. I followed Arsenal for a very long time, because it's always nice banters. You guys get fantastic results. Then
it's similar with you guys, actually. Like sometimes you expected to get something, and then you let the fans down.
So, how do you feel Arsenal will approach this game?
Well, obviously last week I did predict that we'd go with a 4 at the back, but I was wrong. Arteta went with a 3 at the back. Yeah. Obviously against a team like you, we sat back. Yeah, we wing backs. We soaked up the pressure and then caught you on the counter. I think it might be something similar again, because Aston Villa are that type of side. Obviously you saw it against Liverpool. So I think it'll be 3 at the back, and then we'll have like the same midfield, Partey and El Nani. I think we'll drop Xhaka and Dembélé again. I think
talking about obviously the formation here there. I think if you guys can nullify Jack Grealish,
that's the main.
And a player like Partey, you should be an easy task.
He should be causing Grealish down.
This guy almost single-handedly put all our midfielders in his pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Partey, like he had them all in his pocket. He went home, emptied his keys, phone, Pogba, Bruno. How to get that job
CV of Poch as well, everything in there,
Yeah, McChicken sandwich. Yeah, but yeah, that's our best midfield going forward now.
I think with the way Arsenal are performing and the way they're rising, a lot of other teams are starting to kind of look over their shoulders and think, you know what, forget City, forget Liverpool. You got to watch out for these guys because they seem to be in a good run of form.
Yeah, I know you said about Man City, Liverpool, but we've already played them away from home, so we've got that out the way.
Back
I know
to
we
that,
lost.
you guys have played 3 of the toughest away games already done. United,
exactly. So we got that out the way.
I think United, you played Man City as well away.
Man City away, we narrowly lost. I think we deserve to get something out of the game.
And Liverpool as well. So you basically got rid of 50%, more than 50% of the hard fixtures. So
yeah, like we lost the 2 hardest fixtures, Liverpool City away, but I feel like there was from that, you know, so going forward.
That's a good shot. Actually, I didn't even notice that. That's actually a good. Arsenal are looking strong. Arsenal are looking strong at the moment, and I think the momentum is certainly with them, right? I think in regards to Aston Villa, if they can beat Aston Villa, they're gonna go into the international break in high form, like legit.
Yeah, high form. Hopefully, we can maintain that after the international break. I don't know why is there another international break for. I mean,
mate, don't even ask me. I hate international breaks.
But it's not just that; it's especially during a global pandemic.
You shouldn't be having international breaks. It just takes one player.
Exactly, like during a pandemic, it makes zero sense.
You just need one player to catch a COVID, and that's it.
Exactly. I remember Kieran Tierney on his Scotland duty. Like he had a teammate test positive, and then he had to self-isolate, even though he hadn't tested positive, just because he was in close contact with him. So I don't want that to happen again.
All right. So we talked about your preferred formation and potential lineup.
Yeah.
Score predictions for Aston Villa and Arsenal.
Score prediction. I think it'll be 2-1 or 3-1 to Arsenal. I'll say 3-1 to Arsenal.
Big one, 3 big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, big one. Hopefully a big one. I think I'll go unchanged pretty much against from the United game.
Fair play.
Yeah. So Gabriel, I think we'll bring Rob Holding back in. Who else was in the defense as well? Kieran Tierney, I think Saka. I think they should all be the same. Yeah, Bellerin, Partey, and then obviously I said that before. Aubameyang. I think Lacazette should be given another chance then. I know Willian was played well last week, but after the midweek performance of Nicolas Pepe, he played well in the Europa League. I think he should be given a start. But I feel like Arteta will start Willian again, you know.
I guess so. If his performances was not good enough against the midweek club.
I mean, he did get a goal. He played well.
Oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't watch obviously Thursdays.
Knowing, well, I'm saying that. No need to brag. We will be there next season. Don't worry. Yeah, but all jokes aside, Nicolas Pepe had a good performance at midweek, so I feel like he should start. But Arteta will go Willian.
Fair play. So, Okay, moving fastly on to the Everton versus Manchester United.
God. Your guys.
Huge clash tomorrow. Okay, so we touched upon it briefly earlier. Everton are a tough team, right? They're 4th in the league. They've had a fantastic, just like Aston Villa, right? They won the first 4 games, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the last 3 games they didn't. I'm looking at the table now. They lost 2 games and drawn 1, so they got something to prove themselves as well. You know, they're in a bit of a slump at the moment. But a coach like Ancelotti has been there hundreds of times, experienced coach. They got. I think you touched upon the fact that James Rodriguez has returned potentially as well, isn't it? Who's an absolute. They bought him on a free as well, man.
I can't be free for Real Madrid. I mean,
he's gone back to the Premier League, right?
Manager. Yeah, with Mr. Don Carlo.
In regards to Manchester United, I feel that I'm not comfortable going into tomorrow's game. I think a lot of the players.
I wouldn't imagine.
A lot of the players' heads are down.
But I bet they'll turn up.
I think the players know all his time is up, right? So what's the point of playing?
Maybe, but let's see if they play for him tomorrow.
Look, I really want United to win tomorrow, right? But I do have a feeling that we will lose tomorrow.
You have a feeling? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking maybe
only because the form that we are in, the sort of background problems you can say that's been out.
Yeah,
and it's such a bad place to be right now, and we've been saying that every 2 years with Manchester United just before the manager gets the sack. We've seen it with Van Gaal. We've seen it with David Moyes. We've seen it with Mourinho. Now we're seeing it with Oli. We all, as Manchester United fans, we all know how this will end. And unfortunately for Oli, it's not going to end well. I think Everton are more drilled. They know what they're doing. They know how to play the system.
Good manager, by the way. Experienced coach, Great manager. Is he decorated? I don't know why we didn't
exactly.
go for him,
And
but
whereas
I'm
we
happy
are
with
on the
Arteta,
opposite
but
side of the spectrum,
yeah,
right? Inexperienced manager, doesn't
yeah,
know what he's
exactly.
doing. Teams all over the place, doesn't know his starting 11.
Doesn't know
Exactly,
his best 11 at the
and
moment, I don't
doesn't
think.
even know
Yeah.
how to play a diamond, even though we got the players for the diamond.
Yeah, I remember, wasn't it against Leipzig where that 5-0 cushion? You didn't
We
play
played
with
with
the
this
diamond?
like a sort of semi-diamond thing, but see with
Yeah, I don't know why they
team,
don't
right?
just go with that
See
system
with
again.
Ollie's team, he does well when there's a high pressing team against him. So your Leipzig was a high pressing team. Man
Yeah, he's
City, they're
Everton
high
one. I
pressing
don't know, maybe.
team. He
Yeah,
know because we're counter. He basically taught them one tactic, which is to counter attack. Now, teams that don't play high pressing will struggle against, and we've seen that with many teams. And I think Everton will do us over. We are playing away to Everton at the same time.
Goodison Park as well. Yeah, I don't think home and away means too much with
And I
the
don't want to
no
make
fans,
this
but still.
excuse already, Danny, but I thought I'll probably have to put this out there. We played on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh
they
we played on
had a
Thursday
week
and
off.
playing on Sunday again.
And we play tomorrow at 12:30. Our kickoff is at 12:30 on a Saturday after we played Wednesday. So we're gonna be tired as hell.
Well, we are as well. We're playing 3 days after all, so we're in the same boat as you. I know we rested half of our players because that's the benefit of the Europa League.
In terms of look with the formation, I have no idea what we're gonna go for. I did my preview earlier today in my channel, and I went for a diamond formation because that's the best formation that we have based on the players that we have, guys, right? But however, I have no idea. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might end up playing 5 at the back to save his job, like he's done recently. He might have a 2 holding me.
He might try and soccer the pressure and counter attack like we did.
That's what he might exactly do. Personally, for me, I think there's not going to be many goals in the game tomorrow. I think Manchester United and Everton, with the form that they're in, last few games have been poor. I think it's going to be more like a defensive display from both the teams. I don't think neither.
Maybe I think both teams might be afraid against each other, but I feel
I think,
because Everton, don't forget that they're similar to Aston Villa in the sense that they started off really, really well. Now I
think with the difference between Everton and Aston Villa is Everton have a genuinely world-class coach.
And that James Rodriguez. I mean, he's not as world-class as
he's absolutely exactly. Brilliant player.
Brilliant player.
Again, he made a mistake, just like Bale going to Real Madrid and messing up his career.
Yeah, he was a bench warmer, but obviously, and then don't forget Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
How can I even forget this
striker? He's been a great
you know what? He's great in the air,
FPL
right? He's going to absolutely destroy someone who's supposed to be good in the air for us, Harry Maguire. Yes.
Maguire, yeah. I mean, he's in my fantasy team, so hopefully he gets me some points.
Personally, for me, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Everton will end up winning 1-0.
Oh, that's a bit harsh on your team, isn't it?
I don't have much faith from the last few games, what I've seen, and in the last few days, how the club is like, and
you guys have need a lift, though.
We've been saying that, Danny, for 2 years. We need a lift, and we get a good result, like a PSG or Man City or Liverpool. Then it goes back down again. That's the problem, and I think that's where another coach will make a huge difference, right? I think that's what we need. But talking about Everton and Manchester United, I'll be watching the game tomorrow, obviously. I won't be looking forward to it. I think you're going to be watching it as an undercover Everton fan. As an Arsenal
fan. Undercover Everton fan stroke neutral, you can say. I don't want United to win. They're still a rival team, but obviously, for your sake, I'll say
that's
maybe
nice for you to say.
Yeah.
Right. That brings up. We're almost an hour, Danny. Right. So we got another subject we can talk about. I think I'm going through the messages, and one of the things that you mentioned, which I like actually, is the rating for both our league game Europa in midweek, analysis of each of our players, and predicted lineups for the next. Okay, we've talked about some of them, but let's talk about the ratings for our midweek performances, right? Yeah, me can go first.
Yeah. I think you guys didn't have much of a different team from the league one, but obviously in our Europa League team, we usually rest a lot of players. You go back down to our young players. Do you want me to go on my?
You can go first. No problem.
Because basically we had a very changed team. We rest most of our players. We have Gabriel, Partey, El Neni, Aubameyang, all of them on the bench. You play you have a young player called Joe Willock. He had a goal yesterday. People saying he's the next people saying he's the next Aaron Ramsey because he's It's just since Mikel Arteta's come in, he's playing really well, and he's playing like a young Yaya Toure. As Arsenal fans, they've been romanticizing it, you can say, but he's been playing well. And you've got Nicolas Pepe's been starting the Europa League games, which, like I said before, I don't particularly agree with, because I feel like he's just starting the league games. But he's been starting. He's been making an impression as well. We've got another guy called Reece Nelson. He's been playing the Europa League. He's another young star. Like, he's something like a future star, but he was injured yesterday. But in the Europa League so far, he's been pretty bright as well. And of course, Eddie Nketiah, who's a good striker. So it's basically all about youth for us.
That's the way to go.
Fringe players. Yeah, obviously that's the benefit of the Europa League. You can rest the main players and have them fresh for the weekend. Obviously, you guys, it's not the same.
That's the thing with the Champions League, right? That's where I feel.
Champions League. Yeah.
That's where I feel Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has nowhere to hide this time around, because it's not as if he can have a poor performance in the Premier League over the weekend, then go into the Europa League and play some, sneakers club and get a great result, and then everything's back to normal again, right? It's now the Champions League where you play Arsenal one day, then you play PSG the next day. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and that's why I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is being found out.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about balance. Exactly. You need a good coach.
My God, like I don't even know where to start. Like I can't even pronounce their second name, right? I know it's Istanbul.
Istanbul Basaksehir.
I mean, they had some of the players that I recognized, like Demba Ba.
Do you actually recognize some of those players? And Raphael.
Scrutel was there. Yes. I reckon
Martin
players.
Scurtle,
And you know what? They've only been formed 8 years ago, and they absolutely destroyed us.
I know they are Turkish champions, but I mean, when you face a Turkish team, no matter who it is,
but looking back at the game, we were absolutely dreadful. In fact, I fell asleep for 20 minutes of the game. We were so bad. Like the first goal. Have you seen the images or video?
Yeah. I saw the images.
It's actually it's actually legit images. It's not Photoshop or anything. For the first goal, we had everyone forward and no one at the back except the keeper.
Yeah. Not everyone. Harry Maguire, Wan Bissaka, all those guys were up.
Yeah, poor Matic.
Obviously, it was a set piece, to be fair to you. But
now, where does the problem lie there? Like, as a Manchester United player, if I was the captain of the club or a senior member, I will look back and say, what the hell are you guys doing? Two of you stay back. We'll go and attack the football.
Yeah, they should have someone like back up waiting there just in case.
And even for the second goal, half our defenders were on one side of the pitch. Like and it's absolutely disgrace. And that's why I kind of blame a lot on Oli in terms of you gave the captaincy to Harry Maguire, and you expect we all expect him to lead the team, right? These defensive positions. Yeah, Harry Maguire is not a captain. He will never be close to a captain.
Maybe he isn't. Yeah,
I think Harry Maguire, the pressure on him, is Manchester United is a big.
Exactly. I'm just still surprised he spent £80 million on that fridge. I mean, all due respect. That's the
biggest daylight robbery ever.
Like when you look at us buying Gabriel for 25 million around about, it's like we just look at it like it's a steal compared to your, especially when you compare him to Maguire.
I hope if the next manager comes in, and they'll have a bit of a sense and say, Harry Maguire, get rid of the captaincy. I think Bruno Fernandes will make a great captain for our club.
That's what I was thinking. Bruno Fernandes is obviously he seems to be commanding the team. Yeah,
exactly. Going back on the performance, it was absolutely horrendous. It was dreadful. The changes that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made was like for like, right? Most managers will make changes if they're 2-0 down or 2-1 or whatever nil down, right? They'll make changes to impact the game. Yeah, exactly. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made changes that are sane. Like, for example, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a right back. He takes him off and brings on Timothy Fosu-Mensah, who's also a right back. So it's like for like changes.
Yeah.
It's just fresh legs. So where's the tactical change?
Positive change. Yeah, no, I heard that apparently Donny van der Beek.
Exactly. Donny van der Beek was our best player on the field at that, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because he started the match.
He's taking him
first
off.
time in a while.
Kept on. We still have McTominay in the field. He was having a stinker of a game, and that's we lost, but is the approach to the game, the tactical and the substitutions that Oli and this coaching team has ended up making, left a really bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, yes, I understand we've beaten RB Leipzig. Well, we still got 6
I was about to
points
say,
in the
PSG
Champions
and
League.
got fantastic wins.
Yeah,
We've
but
seen
I
much bigger
think
the
this
points
defeat comes
everywhere
at
else,
a
don't we,
time
really?
on the back of a very bad defeat against Arsenal.
Yeah, along with
exactly,
the form as well. You got to
and
look
to
at
get
it.
that defeat
Yeah.
in such circumstances, right, is genuinely has put a lot of pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I feel that if he doesn't do well in tomorrow's game, I don't think he will last past the weekend. I genuinely.
You genuinely think he'll be gone? Like say if you lose tomorrow,
I think
when do you think he'll be
if we lose
sacked by?
tomorrow,
Give a
I think the
prediction.
reports will start coming out tomorrow night that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah.
Reports, I think he'll be on the
100%.
line. Like he'll start a meeting with Ed
You know,
Woodward
as a club, if I look in and say, you know what, we've got 2 weeks international break, let's sack him now, get the new manager in. He's got 2 weeks to kind of settle things. There's no games for him to worry about. He can work on tactics and say hi, hello to all the staff members. You know, it takes time for someone to settle in, right?
Yeah, well, obviously that's one way of looking at it. But what about if you draw?
Sorry,
that's an interesting one, isn't it? What about if you draw or win the game tomorrow?
I genuinely think,
you'll carry on?
We can draw tomorrow, but it will depend on the performance. If we play,
it depends which Man United turns up.
If we draw well, in the game, then maybe. But I still think eventually he'll have to go.
Eventually, I think he's not out of time, but let's see how it goes, and it depends on tomorrow, lunchtime.
Okay, Danny, just carry on talking about the midweek Arsenal game.
Okay, so the team at the Europa League was pretty youthful, and we had the likes of Runa, Alex Runarsson, Icelandic goalkeeper playing. We had the likes of David Luiz returned from injury.
Talking about David Luiz, I was really sorry. I had a bit of a disturbance at the
Oh, no worries. I'm talking about our team now. Obviously, you were breaking down your team, so
I mean, I was disappointed not to see David Luiz in the lineup against Manchester United. I think I've tweeted.
Yeah, I know he was injured, but we did the job anyway. Rob Holding took his job, so. But I mean, he played pretty well yesterday, and he did a good job. I think we have a good defensive option. I think we still feel like we can improve there. Obviously, we got people like David Luiz, and he's going to start to wear off, isn't he? But at the moment, he's doing well, and we got good options basically, and we got a lot of young players coming through as well. I feel like just like you guys. I think you got a lot of young players as well.
Anyway, as you can hear in the background noise, it's coming. I've done well to almost reach an hour. I thought I would reach an hour.
Yeah, fair play to you. I didn't expect you to get that far, to be fair, today. But
let's end it here before the baby starts screaming down through our podcast.
Yeah.
It's been such an excellent show again. Really enjoyed it. Episode 2, excited for it. Hopefully, episode 3 again. We'll have a lot more subject. We'll have a look back. Same thing we did this episode. We'll have a look back on our games, rumors, etc., etc. And I'll let you finish off the podcast a little bit while I mute myself.
Yeah, and you guys still disturbed, yeah. So just one last point I wanted to make is that it's Aubameyang's dance floor at Old Trafford. No more jailings. I mean, what happened to that?
Anyway, with that, I'll let you have the high ground this week, right?
He's having the party.
With that,
this week. This will be sticking for a while, won't it? You guys
sorry. With that, I'm going to leave the podcast. Thank you, everyone that's listened in all the way through. Get involved, guys. Give a follow on your preferred podcast. Danny, a sentence off.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks for all the support. Continue streaming on all the platforms that before: Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, Anchor. They're going on Draco's YouTube channel later on tonight. So
I'll be uploading as soon as I get it from you, Danny. Or I'm sure I can find it. Actually, I've created an account. I should be able to find it. If not, I'll message you.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get some guests.
You to pass it over to me. Danny, before we go,
2 huge games.
Do you want to mention your Twitter handle as well?
Yeah, mine's Mr. DNA 007. It'll be in your pinned tweet.
My one's at Draco Evolve. Do give us
the links.
At
Draco_Evolve. Yeah. And all the links to all the different.
Twitter is the best thing for me to pull up all the stuff in one place for you.
Yeah, a lot of football
Brilliant.
fans and everything there. So yeah, and so yeah, 2 games: Arsenal, Aston Villa, Man United, Everton, Man United.
Take
Best of
care.
luck. Made the
Take care.
guys. Yeah, best of luck. Take care, bro.